Do you mind if I put you on video?
What? Why?
Because
For what? What do I do?
my vlog, nothing. We don't do anything.
Okay.
Uh,
Are you gonna talk? To the video?
I was just getting like a small little.
Oh, okay.
Do you mind if I?
Shelter of someone's arms, and there you were. Needed someone to understand my ups and downs, and there you were. With sweet love and devotion, touching my emotions, I won't stop. Thank you, baby, I just want to stop. And thank you, baby, whoa, how sweet it is to be loved by you.
Long day at work. It's time to have a beer and hang out with friends and enjoy my Friday night at 2:30 in the morning. Oh well.
I remember that night. The sunny days of love.
Today, I want to talk about goals and the to-do lists. I don't know why I want to talk about these things. That's not true. I do know why, mostly because I just want to state my own goals. These goals that I'm talking about today these are not your typical to-do list items. This is not like my daily agenda. I'm not talking about New Year's resolutions, which we've covered in other things. Today I'm talking about goals that are more of like ambitions, things that I've wanted to do for a long time or things I've always desired to do. But what it requires is building up of things, layers and stuff to be able to get there before I can grasp these things. Some of these things are still going to be on hold for a while until it becomes the right moment. So for instance, one of my earliest goals coming out of high school was to start a traveling theater. I think at one point it was more of a being able to be able to perform with my friends, to be able to create characters and to tell different stories, and to be able to bring back the idea of going to different cities and having this thing travel around the road, you know, kind of like musicals and stuff, but the idea was more of that we'd be able to go out as these characters on the street and we'd actually go to these squares or go to the hot spots of those cities, and we'd put together shows that were free just for fun in anticipation for the main show that you could get tickets for at the end of the week. Just being able to connect with people using what you had and using your own talent, and not be like a big production and stuff. So I wanted to bring that back. The traveling theater also turned into more of a studio, and it's basically a collaboration of artists and filmmakers, dancers and magicians, sculptors, any sort of like art form you could think of. All of those things seem like so far off as far as the traveling theater or the studio, just because I'm not been flexing creative muscles much in the past 10 years, and it's been a lot of learning, a lot of growing in myself and finding myself as an artist. I've wanted to write books. I think everyone wants to write books. I think what's kind of held me off from writing books is the fact that there's books for everything. There's a lot of books out there. I mean, first off, I don't know if anyone's reading books anymore, but there's already enough books out there. Like, should I write a book, or what do I have to offer that someone else hasn't done? For me, the adage of there's nothing new under the sun basically applies to anything I could read in a book. One of them is called Uncharted, based on the idea that life is uncharted. If you were given a map to life, it would have nothing on it. You would have to set out and create your own map based on the directions you decide to take. And that's the idea behind the analogy of life being uncharted territory. Another book I want to do is titled When Romance Fails. And I don't know what I want it to be about, except it'll probably be about relationships and my experience with them and other things. And I don't know why I want to write that book or what it is right now, but I have a title, and that's a pretty good step. I have obviously all these screenplay ideas. Some of them are on this board, or they're just in my head. This is kind of depressing, but I remember career day in elementary school. You know, whenever you're supposed to kind of dress up as you want to be, what you want to be whenever you grow up. I dressed in a plaid flannel shirt and just some jeans, and I think I put on some glasses. And for some reason, I said I wanted to be a father. I was never scared of being a father, and I always wanted to do a good job by that. So I guess you could say that that's also one of my ambitions one day, is to be a father and be a good one, or I think I would be. But you know, those things can't come until other things fall in place. Oh yeah, I wanted to build a refuge for teenagers. There was a time I wasn't drinking and I was a young adult, and I was like, why isn't there a place for people to go that don't drink? They could just hang out, be allowed. There used to be places like that, like the arcade or the, I guess, rec center. I don't know, teenagers have nowhere that they're kind of welcome. So we end up causing a lot of trouble when we're teenagers. And so I wanted a place to contain that trouble, not to necessarily like stop it, because, you know, we're still going to cause trouble anyway. So I wanted to create a refuge, and it was this whole big idea of like, this is a place that was meant for teenagers. It was meant for figure out who they were. It was a place to get away. And it would be a place that had a bunch of different things, like a diner. I thought that it would be cool if the diner was built out of train boxcars. There would be like a cafe, which would look like a Western saloon. A library that looked like the Parthenon. I wanted to create a kind of a rec area or a sports area, filled with sand and stuff, and it would look like the Colosseum in gladiator times, whatever, Roman times, you understand. There would also be an outdoor theater, and it would look like a ship or a sunken ship, and the screen would be the mast or the sail of the ship. Oh, and there'd be tree houses, but they'd be for kids who were considered runaways, or kids who like were needing shelter, so sheltered kids. So the place would also be or it would act as a children's shelter. So you'd always have counselors on hand. You'd always have volunteers on hand. So it wasn't just kids just running the place, but they'd have a place where they could work. They would also have tutors on hand, so during the day they could do schooling and stuff during the day, and then maybe do work or hang out at night on the refuge. Anyway, so that's some of my goals and ambitions. I actually was just talking to my roommate about this, is I don't think we keep our goals in mind much. I think we don't put them out there as much, and these are goals among many. Like I've had goals for a bunch of different things, you know, like a goal of having my own space, which I do now, like as a house, and I have goals like starting podcasts, or I have goals of like doing whatever. There's so many things that we have, small goals, big goals. For me, those were the ambitious goals. Those things that I just talked to you about. Kids are playing. Those goals that I talked to you about, those were just so far on the back burner for me. Like I didn't feel like I had accomplished them. So what I could accomplish was acting, and that's why I started pursuing acting and filmmaking, you know, and I figured those other things are going to come when they come, whenever I have the ability to do those things, whenever I meet the right people, or whenever the timing is right. And I'll know when those are. But I have forgotten about a bunch of those, and so I had to talk about them. I had to put them out there, and I feel like you have to like keep those in mind. You have to put your own ambitions out there, those huge lofty goals that just seem like they're so far out of reach. But if they're not there and they're not like in your sight, then we can forget about them completely. The point is, I think everyone should state their goals in one form or another. And I'm not just talking about a Pinterest board full of things that you're never going to do, because those things, let's be honest, there's just too many interests out there for you to pin onto your own board. I'm talking about things that like grow out of your own abilities, your own talents, your own innate desires. Some people we think too small and we need to think loftier, and some people we think too big and we need to think smaller. Once you put your goals out there, then like think of what you can do to take smaller steps towards reaching those goals. That's the thing, like if you can't reach those goals now, that's fine. A lot of my goals I may never reach until I'm like 60 years old, but that doesn't mean you can't have those goals in mind and start trying to reach those now. Talk about them, find someone to talk about. Like if you express those things, you know, and see if you can't start a conversation with someone, and then see what comes out of that, and see what kind of collaboration you can do, or see like where you can be pushed to do those things, because you never know. Out of the woodwork comes something that you never knew was possible, like that you could do practically now, that you never realized. So. This is apparently where the children's church is going to be. That's pretty awesome. I mean, hope they don't get rained on. I don't know if I'm supposed to be out here, but it's a pretty cool little area. This guy's working out.
I never saw that movie, living in front of the sea. I remember that night, I remember that night, laughing around the fire. I couldn't feel much better. The sunny days are back, the sunny days are back.
So they basically, what that was is I go to church at Gateway here in Austin, and we're opening up a new central campus downtown. It's very exciting because we've been wanting this to happen for a while. So we're having a little leadership meeting, talk about logistics and what it's going to look like and see the space. And yeah, so if you're downtown on 4th and Brazos on Sunday morning, you should come join us. Starting February 14th. Okay, is this windy? Is it better now? We'll see. I feel like such an Austinite. I have Torchies, tacos, and Live Oak Hefeweizen. Did you hear the good news? Live Oak's bottling now, or canning, or whatever. Hey, you can get it in the store now instead of at the brewery. So yay, exciting day for Austinites.
Okay, show me where
I'm
it
just
is.
kidding. Don't worry about it.
No, I want to.
No, it's fine.
I thought you. No, I really do want to know. I
I'm
don't know
really
what
not
it is.
offended.
I know, but I would like to see this
Do
anyways.
you even know do you know what I'm talking about?
No, not at all. Like,
Okay, so-
I'm not tech savvy at all.
Okay, so YouTube is a thing.
Yeah?
This is like 2005.